Chris, just first of all, just to touch on last week briefly, when you've looked back, was it as frustrating to review as it was in real time?
Um, yeah, probably JD. I think it's just a reflection of where we're at. As a playing group at the minute, we've got a distinct lack of um, confidence and distinct lack of belief in the you know in the play in the playing group, and it'd have been very easy for me to rock up on video review with a baseball bat and say this is not good enough and this is rubbish. But my role this week has just been to try and, pump the tyres up a little bit, JD. And, we created a lot of opportunities. I think the first set of the game we probably should have scored. Or the second play of the game probably should have scored. Sam Wood breaks through 2v1, 40 metres out. Probably should have, we needed to execute. Probably three or four opportunities in that first half and second half. But because we're not confident, we haven't got that confidence. We're a little bit unwilling to throw that pass and make those mistakes. So, I've tried to encourage these guys to. That's the only way you're going to learn, JD, is by going through and with these players. And if we make a mistake, we just make sure we don't make that mistake again. And that's part of learning. So, yeah, we were all pretty frustrated. Obviously, we've been beaten by Salford, who I thought were very good on the day, and but we needed to be a hell of a lot better, and we started well, but we just that second half were pretty average, to be honest.
Did it make you realise why you said last week you don't want to get back into club coaching?
Yeah. I got it. I just don't want that feeling of the stress and the pressure and all that kind of stuff. It's the main reason why I do the job that I do now. And I think I mentioned it earlier that yesterday is the first day that I've really been able to focus on my proper job. The players had a day off yesterday, and that's been it was a good day for me that I could just sit back and catch up on some emails and work hard on the things that are really, really important. And that's, getting the right players in and certainly getting the right coach that's going to lead us into 2026.
Someone said to me after the game that in years gone by, and I mean a few years ago, in a game like that, there'd have been a Shenton, there'd have been a Millington, there'd have been a Gale, there'd have been a Webster that would pull that team together. There's obviously not a great deal of leaders in that group at the moment, and it's because the team's evolved over this season and over the recent seasons as well. But is that one of the things that you'll be looking to do well, the coaching group will look to do going forward to put some leaders into this playing group?
Yeah. It's a very quiet group, JD, and I've just tried to over the last 7 days, just try, encourage everybody to speak up in team meetings. Even if you think it's not the right, they're not the right answer or whatever. I think it's important that that I try and encourage these guys, and it's important that we bring some leaders into the club and bring a coach that's going to connect with the players, going to connect with the town, and I think that's really important. I had a really good conversation actually on the way into work with Adrian Vowles. I've spoken to Vowles a couple of times and messaged him, and just nice to hear his voice, and just we had a chat about that 1997 season. I think he referenced, I think, you losing 11 games on the bounce, and he also just referenced, what the cast fans are looking for in the team, and that's just effort every week. And I'm not saying that these players aren't, giving effort. They are trying hard, and but I just think that there's just a real lack of belief and real lack of confidence at the moment. There's been quite a few seasons of mediocrity, and I'm very positive, JD. I'm really positive. I'm a bit mad with myself with the way I spoke after the game, because there's a lot of positive things that are happening at the club, and that's got to be at the forefront of my messages, and my mind, because we know where we are, and we certainly know where we want to be next year. And like I said, with the right coaching group, with the right team, with the right players, and with the town back on, back on side, I think that's really, really important. I think we've probably lost that connection with the town. Once we get all that back, like Valsey says, in '99, the place were absolutely bouncing. He referenced there the Tigers bar after games. All the players and the players' wives and the fans had stay in that Tigers bar till midnight. And I'm not encouraging that from from my team. I don't want them staying out, drinking till midnight. But that's the kind of connection that that currently that we're missing. And it's nice just to talk to Valsey, about his experiences and his time at the Cass Club, because he mentioned there that he's obviously left 20 years ago, however many years ago it was. I think 2005 he came back, off the top of my head. I might be wrong. But he's still got some fans that are still messaging him now, and close friends. So I think it's really important for me that I connect with those ex-players, and Val's is certainly a player that I admired over the years. Very, very tough, 100% effort, and we probably need 17 Adrian Vals in our team. Week in, week out, and if we have that kind of effort every week, we win more than we lose.
Well said. On the 17th and this week, what potential is there for changes?
Yeah, there'll be a couple. We got in his senior. In his senior will be back this week. I referenced actually in my post-match press last week Jensen Winley, but I forgot he's coming back from a HIA, so he's not trained all kind of week. But Jensen, and there's quite a few kids that we're looking at over the coming weeks to give an opportunity to, and focus more on the players that are going to be here in 2026. And you saw the benefits of what Hull did last year, blooding some of these youngsters. And I think it's important that we do the same over these next 8 or 9 weeks, to give them that confidence and believe to go into 2026.
Obviously, you will need to call on some guys that aren't going to be here next year. Is that an issue with trying to motivate players that maybe think they have played the last game for Castleford, or know that they're not going to be here next year?
No, well, they've got that self-pride as well, JD. They're obviously playing for contracts at other clubs. So, you'd like to think, they won't be putting the queue in the rack. And I know with the playing group that we've got, that they all want to help turn this club around and help turn the corner. So, I'm expecting every single one of these guys that are in the squad at this moment in time, those that are playing, those that aren't playing, to give everything for the club, because that's their job. And that's what the people of Castleford want, is a hard working town, and we need to be a hard working team to match that.
What do you think you'll get from Warrington on Sunday?
Yeah, they've hit a bit of form, haven't they, JD? I think they're playing really, really well. We've prepared with Sneed in there, whether he plays or not. I think he came off in that game. But yeah, any team with George Williams in is a difficult team to play against. They're a big physical pack. I know they've got plenty of injuries at this moment in time, but like I said, with George, Sneed, Dufty at the back, one of the best fullbacks in the competition. So it's a pretty impressive spine, really. Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but we've got every confidence going into this, JD. I think we've had a pretty honest week. Like I said, I've done nothing but pump the tyres up of these players this week, and try to instill that confidence and belief into the players. And I'm hoping that we throw the ball around, we try things, and that's certainly what I've encouraged this group of players to do, because on a good we are a good side. On a good day we can beat anybody. We came close against Wigan. I know we've had a couple of indifferent performances, so we're in front of us home crowd, and it's a good opportunity for us to put in a professional performance that makes the town proud.